Hi, this is Tom Kane, the voice of Jedi Master Yoda. And this is Inside the Force. Listen, you will. Foreseen it I have, yes.
It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
How's it going, Case?
It's pretty good, man. It's good. It's been a good few days.
It has been. Some outstanding news. I actually have seen posts on Twitter the past few days that I think with all that's coming, like in 2019, there's been a big wave of positive energy.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of stuff coming out, and of course we're here to talk about it. So, fire away.
Okay. I mean, gosh, the really only new stuff is this casting announcement that came out the other day, which is pretty big because we've got nothing on episode 9, really. There should be we kind of knew. I think it was after we recorded last show, but we know now that they're shooting soon. Actually, it might be tomorrow. I can't remember if they gave a specific date. But the casting announcement, which I believe we got Friday. Is that right? I think Friday. Came with I think I remember reading that they're shooting and starting shooting in a few days.
Yes.
So, a couple of big things with episode 9, that is, if you don't know what I'm talking about at this point. I'm sure you guys already know all this stuff.
Yes.
I don't know if you're necessarily watching this for breaking news.
There are some people that listen to us for the news.
Okay,
so,
well, there you go. Here's the news. So, yeah, July 27th. So, that was, today's the 30th. So, yeah, what do we call it? The Friday. That's the day. That's when Lucasfilm or Star Wars put out the episode 9 cast. So I'll just kind of breeze through this. So, it says here, actually, at the beginning of it. The Star Wars episode 9 will begin filming at Pinewood Studios August 1st. So,
Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, yeah. Cool. J.J. Abrams, of course. He co-wrote with Chris Terrio, which is exciting. Everybody's coming back pretty much. So you have Daisy Ridley, Adam Driver, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Lupita Nyong'o. Hopefully, Maz will have a bigger role, actually, in this one. Hopefully it's significant. Domhnall Gleeson, Kelly Marie Tran, I always forget, Jonas as Chewie, Billy Lord. Suotomo. Billy Lord, which I was surprised to see her name in the list here, which maybe she might have a bigger role, which is exciting. New people, Carrie Russell, of course, is officially announced. Naomi Akai. Don't recognize her, but she is, an experienced actor. She's not a brand new person. And then Richard E. Grant, who, if you look him up, you should recognize him from probably a lot of things. This guy has been in tons of stuff, always as like a character kind of actor, so like supporting roles and side characters. But this guy's been villains. He's been good guys. He's been in just about any kind of movie you can think of, except for Star Wars.
I actually just watched him last night for the first time in Logan.
Oh, he's the doctor guy, whatever. One of the main
Rice,
bad guy.
Dr. Xander Rice in Logan.
Yeah, he's been in tons. I mean,
is that a surprise that I just now saw Logan last night?
Oh, for the first time?
For the first time.
No, it's not. That's all right. Took me a while to see it too.
A long time, yeah.
But this guy's been around for. I mean, he's been acting, so he's been around for decades. So he's. I mean, if you look him up, I'm sure you've seen a handful of movies that he's been in. Awesome, really good guy, good actor. I mean, he's. Yeah, so I am thinking he's going to be a villain just right off the bat because I feel like he mostly plays villains, but who knows? He could be a good guy. Mark Hamill, Anthony Daniels, Billy Dee, of course, and Leia Organa herself, Carrie Fisher, will be in episode 9. Isn't that interesting? Being even more specific, saying using previously unreleased footage shot for The Force Awakens.
Right.
crazy awesome. Abrams has some quotes here saying we desperately loved Carrie Fisher. Finding a truly satisfying conclusion to the Skywalker saga without her eluded us. We were never going to recast, thank goodness, or use CG character. I actually would have been okay with that. With the support and blessing from her daughter, Billy, we have found a way to honor Carrie's legacy and role as Leia in Episode 9 by using unseen footage we shot together in Episode 7. John Williams composing. Who else would? And, Kathleen Kennedy's producing. Abrams, Michelle Rewan, and there's a whole list here of the creative team. I'm trying to think look through here of any names that pop out. Same names that have been in all these films. So yeah, Michael Kaplan, Neil Scanlon. I recognize those names from the Creature at FX team. So December 2019. Didn't actually have a specific date, but I thought there was one. Maybe there's not.
I think there is, but I don't remember what it is. But
so exciting. So you can unpack that, read into it however many ways you want. And that's essentially what's been on the interwebs and the forums and all that stuff for the past few days, because mainly people talking about Carrie Fisher, which is exciting, and speculating on that. I've got my speculation how she'll be used. I think everybody else has their speculation. It's just exciting to hear different fan theories and thoughts and everything. And they're shooting this Wednesday. I hope Abrams starts leaving his cool little handwritten notes again. He was pretty good about that. And
yes,
very exciting times ahead of us.
Yeah. So two things about that, which I want to kind of save a little bit for our main topic, but definitely Carrie Fisher speculation, but also. Interesting that in the first sentence, it clearly outlines that this is the final installment of this Skywalker saga.
Yep.
So there's a lot to speculate there too about how it's going to end.
Richard Grant, let me pull up his tweet because let me see. He put out there kind of like a to be honored kind of tweet. He said. 3 days ago, I saw Star Wars in 1977 when I was in drama school. Being cast in the final installment of the Skywalker trilogy in 2018 feels like an utterly out-of-body experience. Hashtag Star Wars, thank you. Hashtag Nina Gold, who is the casting director for Star Wars. He even, and that's one thing that stood out to me in his tweet, that he even said final installment of the Skywalker trilogy. So that's definitely being advertised. There's a lot of hype coming into it already. This is it. It's the final one. For Skywalkers.
For the Skywalkers.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. Other TV on the TV side, of course, Rebels Season 4 drops tomorrow on Blu-ray.
Yes.
Go pick up the final season there on Blu-ray, meaning tomorrow being July 31st. I will make my way to pick that up. So that's now another. Of course, we talked about the Clone Wars last week. I did throw out a tweet. I tried to get an answer before we recorded, but I threw out a tweet to our good friends Matt Martin and Leland Chee, throwing out that. I said with 12 episodes that we know of coming from the Clone Wars, we've been discussing whether or not the episodes will be longer. Mm-hmm. Any chance that these are 40-plus minute episodes, Probably can't answer, but I'm trying to get something out of them.
It's fun to ask, though.
It is. I'm hoping for the "you're on to something" reply.
Just a little thing that I'll tell you.
Yeah, because I have a really big suspicion that they're longer than 20 minutes.
That would be really exciting. That would make sense. Why? 13 episodes.
Plus, on streaming services like that, you usually get longer form.
Yeah.
Episodes. Mm-hmm. Very similar to the Marvel stuff that they're putting out there, Iron Fist and Jessica Jones and all this stuff. In other news, TV news, is Star Wars Resistance, which is coming to us this fall. They released some news about that, more so on across the pond on the European side. Mm. So, according to German news, Star Wars Resistance is premiering October 13th in Germany with a 2-part season opener entitled The Recruit. The first season is going to contain 22 episodes, and 10 of them will be airing this year before the mid-season break. So again, this is all news related to a Germany release. Nothing fully concrete, I don't think, in the United States yet. So nothing. But anyway, in the plot synopsis for premiere episodes, I think this has been known, but you tell me, Case, I can't remember if we read this on here, but
no, this is after.
So Resistance fighter Poe Dameron tasks young pilot Kazuda Kaz Ziono, is that?
Who knows? Until
Ziono?
I don't know.
With spying on the First Order. So the First Order is known at this point. So this is within, 7 years?
Yeah.
Before episode 7?
Yeah.
Because Bloodline, they still don't know about the First Order fully.
No.
Right?
Not at all.
Not at all. In order to fulfill his mission, or at the time, little was known about the secret organization and its strength. Mm-hmm. In order to fulfill his mission, Kaz travels to the space station Colossus, which is being used by many ships to refuel and do repairs. However, there are also dangerous races taking place there. After Kaz bragged with his piloting skills at his arrival there, he is soon drawn into one of the races. ... Mm-hmm. So obviously that's probably a good kickoff to the episode. But it looks like the first season is going to be focused on just gathering information about the First Order, basically. So we'll probably get, again, a little bit of Poe, a little bit of Phasma, rumors of a Kylo Ren showing up,
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense. But yeah, I'm not expecting it, but that would be a nice little bonus.
Now, sooner or later, we've got to get a trailer.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking October is not very far from now. 60 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm leaving for Disney in early October, so I know it's 60 days. So 2 months away, we've pretty much should be getting something very soon. Mm-hmm. If they've got 22 episodes coming.
Yeah, I like reading into that plot because, first of all, was it advertised as this is the series plot or the first arc?
No,
episode?
It's. I think it's roughly these first 2 episodes.
Yeah, that sounds like it. Like that second paragraph, especially.
If you think about it, and you think about it, I think it's just like we got Rebels, the big Spark of Rebellion movie.
Yeah.
The first. Yeah. I guess introducing these characters and kind of introducing who he is.
And I love because getting a little bit just a little knowledge of the kind of world we're about to enter. First Order, so they don't think or they don't believe it's this big hulking army that will eventually try to take over the galaxy. They just think it's a rising presence. They just want to investigate it. So it's interesting that so this might be that kind of, to use Spark again. This might be like the spark of the First Order in a way. To me, it's like
the introduction of the First Order.
They know about it at the start of the show, but they don't quite know exactly who they are, what they are, how big or scary. So they're investigating, but then suddenly something's going to happen, and the inciting incident might be like the First Order is something we all need to be afraid of, and maybe they start taking over the galaxy. So I think this is definitely the rise of the First Order.
Well, if I remember correctly, the story of Bloodline, which again I can't stress enough how good the book is. Mm-hmm. Claudia Gray?
Claudia Gray.
Yeah, that's right, Claudia Gray. So Bloodline, focusing on Leia, and really spoilers, I guess, a little bit about the main story, but the part of the story is honestly, which is really cool, is basically the galaxy discovering that she is Darth Vader's daughter.
Right.
So, which has been a fact, I guess, hidden all these years ever since Return of the Jedi. So, what did we say? This is like 6-7 years before episode 7?
I think 6, maybe
roughly.
I think
5, 6, yeah.
Maybe 6 though. Yeah, 5 or 6, I think.
So another part of this book is the discovery of a presence, but not necessarily called the First Order. Like you're finding out that there's what do they call them? Either the populace or the
populace and the centrists.
Centrists. Yeah, which one? Some one of them is funding
basically
secret
the
organization.
centrists.
The centrists,
Basically, the centrists is made up of a lot of these people that, in a way,
Empire loyalists almost.
Not quite to the extent of Empire. Like they don't definitely believe what the Empire. They get what the Empire is trying to do. Essentially, like they think one body should rule the entire galaxy, but definitely not to the violent extremes
of the Emperor
that the Emperor did.
Yes,
like they want. Like they think, no, the Empire.
Yeah, they actually think there's there should be an emperor, just not a all-encompassing,
not like enslaving.
Powerful,
all this mining planets for resources until they're nothing, and then not genocidal,
taking over worlds. Yes,
so they like there's a way to do it because again, like Bloodline started that opening that worldview up to me, where it's like, gosh, I mean, the Empire they had order throughout the galaxy, so it makes a good argument.
It was the wrong kind of order,
right?
But it was order.
Then you get the state of the galaxy in Bloodline as it is with the New Republic. It's like, well, now you got the cartels, you got everybody, all these crime syndicates coming back and like having the little pockets of control, and it's hard for the New Republic to maintain all of that. And that's part of the story is that Leia is investigating this cartel, and because they're again, I can't remember everything, but I think they're
secretly making these. Well, I think they're secretly making these trips out to the edge of the galaxy.
Everything's leading to something, to this unknown source of terrorists they don't quite know yet.
Yes.
But all this money is going towards something, and like all this, like Leia comes across this army in a sense, which is not the First Order, but it's somewhat financially tied to the First Order. So all this money, all this resources is going towards something, towards somewhere, someone out there, and Leia's like finding this out and kind of warning in a way, like, look, something's out there. We gotta get ready for it. Like, don't worry about it.
And then because of this revelation about being Vader's daughter, it kind of drives her out of the government, and into the resistance because she does feel like this is a threat. Yeah, what she has discovered.
She was almost the chancellor.
She almost was the chancellor.
Then this revelation came out. Then everybody's like, we don't believe you anymore.
In the end, probably saved her life.
That's true.
Because she would have been on Hosnian Prime, probably as the chancellor.
Yeah, probably.
Depending on how long her term was or whatever. Sure. But she probably would have been dead. Because Corsella, who was the girl that you see in episode 7 getting, in front next to the chancellor that gets killed. Yeah. That was kind of her assistant. She kind of stayed in the government when she left.
Yeah, she's in the book. She's all over it. And
I think there were a lot of scenes shot with her.
Yeah, there were some
scenes shot. Anyway, fantastic book. Yeah, but anyway, that kind of sets up to where I guess somewhere between that book and this show, the First Order becomes known as the First Order or whatever,
and the Resistance is also a thing.
Yes,
official entity.
Yeah, and like you heard in episode 7, it's like they just don't feel like the First Order is that big of a deal until obviously they destroyed everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're getting. I mean, we're in a sense, I feel like we're getting Rebels of this generation's films.
Kind of getting. Maybe this is in a way a sequel to Bloodline too, because I think Bloodline, of all the books out there so far in the new canon, I think Bloodline needs a sequel to get this next step. Like, but I guess we'll kind of get that in Resistance. I think we'll see. I would think we'd see Leia in this. I feel like you would have to at some point.
I think you have to. Oh my gosh!
We'll get Poe. We'll get. I mean, it'd be great if we saw Snap.
Too, I feel like you'll get Snap. Yeah,
Akbar and those guys would be awesome.
Yeah, definitely think you'll get those guys. Who knows? Lando will probably pop up too.
Probably. Who knows? He likes to pop in random places.
But great segue into sequeled books because I started. You haven't started yet, right?
Not yet. No, I'll need to listen to it.
I started Thrawn Alliances, and oh my goodness, this book is so good. By far, the first Thrawn book by Timothy Zahn is one of my favorites, and overall one of the best books I think that has come out in the new canon.
Great.
I'm trying to think of. I mean, my favorites have been Thrawn. My favorites has been Bloodline, Dark Disciple. Catalyst,
Yep.
Tarkin. Those are probably among my favorite. I'm trying to look around at my... Oh, and then, of course, the Aftermath books. Yeah, of course, the Aftermath books. But yeah, I got all my books like all around on the shelf. I'm trying to make so those. That's probably the handful right now. I would say you've got to read those books.
Yeah.
Out of the adult novels, right? Of course, the young adult novels like Rebel Rising, Ahsoka, Leia, those are all really good too. But of the adult novels, I have to say, is there anything next to Last Shot? I can't see. No,
It's the junior novels
Okay.
by Jason Fry.
so of those, I mean, those are the best ones, I think, in my opinion. Thrawn Alliances is right up already in there. I'm only 6 chapters in, I think. I think it's 30 chapters total. And this, of course, it's read by Mark Thompson, who is phenomenal. He is the voice of Thrawn. I tweeted that out. Like, he is
It's pretty good.
the voice of Thrawn. I was so glad. They haven't done it since the first chapter, but I was so glad in the first chapter. I don't know if you've listened to a lot of books that have Vader's breathing in it, but it's not the actual sound. Hasn't been the actual breathing. It's almost been a fake, like
Yeah.
like a gargling. And I'm like, what? This is Lucasfilm. Use the dang original sound. Well, this book has the original Vader breathing, which is a lot better now. But they haven't used it since the first. He's been in other scenes, but they haven't turned his breathing on, I guess, in the sound. But the best part so far of this book, I wouldn't say the best part, but one of the most just how do you say it? One of
Gripping.
Gripping, most pull me in type of aspect is that this takes place, as of right now, it takes place on Batuu, which is home to Black Spire Outpost, which is what the Disney park that we are going to be able to go to Black Spire Outpost.
That's cool. I wonder if there's like even specific landmarks that the book has been referencing that will be at the park.
I think so, because in an interview, Zahn said that he got access to all the designs of Black Spire Outpost.
He's throwing everything in there.
Oh, yeah. So I'm trying to listen to specific, I'll have to go back over it next time when it opens. But because he's describing things. And
it's like, Thrawn was here. You'll go to Disney World and be like, Thrawn was right here.
I know. I can't wait, man. So, and of course, so I'm not going to reveal too much, but as you've kind of, bless you,
thanks.
But as you've kind of, you should know anyway, if you've looked at the excerpts or even saw the Comic-Con cover with young Thrawn and young Anakin, there's 2 stories going on here. One story is the story. Now, if you read the first book, they mention it. Yeah. He mentions how he met Anakin Skywalker. And so this is the story of how he met Anakin Skywalker. And it's a parallel story because they met at Batuu. And in present day, which is, I think this takes place between season 3 and 4, I think, of Rebels.
4.
They had just mentioned how he failed to capture the Rebels, the whole Bendu thing. Was that the end of season 3?
Yeah.
That was the end of season, so right after that, this takes place, which explains why he's not in season 4 right away.
Right.
But him and Vader are tasked by the Emperor to follow a disturbance in the Force that the Emperor has. And lo and behold, it's Batuu. So that's why all of a sudden there starts. But see, obviously, Thrawn doesn't know Anakin is Vader, so he thinks this is Vader's first trip there, basically. And of course, Vader remembers. But it's the way they play off each other. It's really, really awesome. And of course, the first trip when they first meet, that's during the Clone Wars. So yeah, it's just a great. I have no idea necessarily. I mean, I know where the past story is kind of heading because there's a motivation there, but
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole disturbance thing, I have no idea where it's going. So I'm excited. I've been listening to it every day, going to and from work. So it's really good. I suggest you start it.
Yeah. Soon.
You'll get through it real fast. It's so good.
I always listen to it in double speed. So.
Yeah. I can't do the double speed though, because
Yeah.
especially mainly when the action sequence happens, because the music gets a little too fast, and I don't know. I just can't. I have to listen to it normal. I usually sometimes kick it to 1.5.
Yeah.
When it's just dialogue, but
Sure.
But it's so good. Timothy Zahn, Mark Thompson. That's like the best combo.
Mm-hmm.
Just a quick mention on new comics coming this week. August 1st, you get The Last Jedi #5, which I think there's one more that finishes the comic adaptation for Marvel. Then Star Wars #52 hits shelves, so go check those out. Again, if you can't make it through the first book of Thrawn, there is a comic adaptation that Marvel did. So the trade's not out for another couple months, I don't think, but they just finished the 6-issue series last, I think maybe a week or two ago. So those issues are out there. You can read up. You can read the whole adaptation of the book before you get into Alliances if you want. I'm through 4 issues of it, and it's a pretty accurate.
Yeah,
it's pretty accurate.
Good. Yeah.
It's a pretty good comparison. It's really good. You remember Eli Vanto?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I miss him. He's not obviously in this book.
Well, the way they left
they mention him.
Yeah, where they left him though in the first book.
Yeah,
that's a pretty big cliffhanger.
It is.
They need to.
Doesn't he go?
He's with the Chiss.
He's with the Chiss. Yes.
Yeah, it's just like it makes me think. I wonder.
They're going to show up again.
Zahn and
They're
Filoni
showing up
working
again
together because it's like what? Like again, you just think about cool ways that can all tie together. Thinking maybe Thrawn and Ezra are in the unknown regions, and they somehow meet back up with the Chiss, and Eli's there, and then they just get in a whole mess of stuff.
Yes,
like, that could just be totally. You could bring Yuzan Vong in. Maybe the Chiss are fighting the Vong, so it's super isolated. Like, so many cool things could happen. Come on. Anyway, probably not, but
cool things.
That'd be cool.
Okay, so that's really all. That's happening in the Star. Not all that's happening, but that's what's happening.
No, that's kind of.
That's all that we know. Yeah, correct. Of course. So the next, I just saw it on here. It's just a quick reminder of Star Wars Celebration, Chicago happening in April. Get there to do that. Because everybody else is going to be there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's dive into these things. A couple things about this episode 9 announcement. It's kind of a little surprising that the announcement. Obviously, they didn't do anything for Comic-Con as far as episode 9 with the filming getting ready to start, like you mentioned. Of course, it was good to announce the cast. Now, when StarWars.com first announced this, it did not include Carrie Russell because she had just finished her contract that day. They re-released the article that included her name on there. So it is official that Carrie Russell is in episode 9. 2 names, before we get into those 2 things I talked about, 2 names that were not included. Andy Serkis and Gwendolyn Christie. So is it safe to assume that those 2 characters are done out of the series?
You never can say for sure with these kind of movies, but I would think. I would think that's it.
Because Harrison Ford wasn't on episode 8 cast list because he's dead.
Yeah.
So it's probably safe to assume that they both are dead and not coming back.
That would be great because it'd be cool to get a little more information from Snoke if we could, but if not, it's fine. But
here's the thing: we saw him die.
Yeah,
we didn't necessarily see Phasma.
Technically, see her die, but come on. I don't think JJ will want to bring her back just to kill her off again.
So you think she died?
I think she's out, man.
Okay,
I think she's gonzo.
I just feel I don't know. I know for a fact there's probably a lot of fans out there that feel
absolutely
shortchanged.
Oh yeah,
by those
I
characters.
would definitely agree with that. There's a lot of argument for that.
But I mean, what could you have? I mean, Snoke I can see because he was, I mean, kind of the master of in the rule of two almost. And, he was the master of the dark side, kind of, and he seemed. I mean, he seemed the most powerful dark user we've seen. I mean, to be able to manipulate those minds like that, and
He's pretty powerful.
yeah, I mean. We never saw Palpatine do stuff like that.
No.
You know what I mean? So I do feel a little short on Snoke. The only reason I kind of don't with Phasma is honestly because I read the novel.
Yeah.
So I know pretty much all of her story. Yeah. And her story really wasn't going anywhere because, there's a conflict with Finn. But that was somewhat resolved. I mean, he basically killed her in a sense.
Yeah.
Right? But her whole story was kind of how she got there. And that's what we got in the novel. Where her story was going. I mean, it kind of felt like they kept marketing her like, oh, there's a lot coming from her. There's a lot coming from her, but we didn't get it.
Yeah, that's probably one of the big people probably would say that's probably one of the big pitfalls of this new trilogy is not following through with the hype of Phasma. And, not giving her enough, and just like a Boba Fett thing.
And the hype from Snoke, I guess, too.
Yeah, I mean, he still was pretty cool with a little that we saw, but I'm fine. I'm fine with how they treated Snoke. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah,
he served his purpose.
Exactly, and I think you can't really. I mean, in the overall scheme of things, especially after I think we see Episode 9, I think too much of him would have stolen the attention away from Kylo Ren because that's what the story's about.
Yeah,
I mean, ultimately, I think this Skywalker saga, this trilogy, I should say, is about Ben Solo.
Yeah. I mean, do you think other people are picking up on that? I feel like I haven't. Man, I just don't read the forums a lot, but I still feel like I don't get a sense people understand that Ben Solo is a Skywalker.
Yeah, I don't know.
And he counts.
Yes.
And
this is the story about Ben Skywalker, in a sense.
Because the things people are still sometimes speculating, like, well, Rey could still be a Skywalker.
Yeah.
Like, Carrie Russell could be Mara Jade and Luke's lover, which would be cool. I mean, I wouldn't mind if they pulled that off, but I don't think so.
I have a feeling she could be Rey's mother.
Yeah. But not
a Skywalker.
Yeah.
Or not even
not like a Mara Jade.
Yeah, not even and Luke not be the father. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that's okay, so that's the speculation kind of. Let's talk about this whole final installment because so by those words, I mean, now granted we kind of got that from George that the 6 movies were the Skywalker saga, right? Because I still own the Blu-ray that says the complete saga, right? It's not the complete saga.
No.
So, I mean, is it possible that we'll get 10, 11, 12? Probably not. I wouldn't think so, especially in the most recent, comments or, feelings. But complete side note, I want to detour just a second. I saw some tweet directed to... who was it directed to? Oh, man. I think it was directed to Rian Johnson. Yes, it was directed to Rian Johnson. It was a gentleman that, and I don't know how he did this, but he said he's writing some kind of essay or some kind of article, like a big thing about Star Wars fandom. Mm-hmm. And he said that he's been gathering a ton of just comments, all kinds of comments, good, bad, all just from social media all over the place, Facebook, Twitter. Somehow he tweeted to Rian Johnson saying, Ryan, just want to let you know something like, just want to let you know that even though it does seem like that the fandom is toxic and there's nothing but hate, he goes, I have done a study and I'm releasing it soon, blah, 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 that something like out of all the comments and things about Star Wars, only 14% of it is negative. So, and he said and I think there's parts of it saying, and I hate to speculate against someone else's work, but I think he was also getting the point in the thread. He was saying how that unfortunately social media tends to kind of, how do you say it?
Push
like,
the loud,
push the
yes, angrier voices.
Push the louder voices in order to get more comments going. You know what I mean? Like to entice almost. You know, so he was. And Ryan replied to the guy saying, "Oh, thanks." You know, they had a little conversation going. So anyway, I wanted to point that out just because like you're saying, I think that in fact, I don't know where I was going with that. Why did I detour off that?
Point. I don't know. That's a good point in itself.
But I was bringing up something about negativity. But anyway, the Skywalker thing, even though we were talking about 9, 10, 11, or 10, 11, 12, but I don't think that's going to happen now.
Yeah.
I think that, because of the negativity.
Yeah.
I don't think it's solely because of the negativity, because it's not that much. That's what I was getting at. Ha! So it's not that much to, and we always said that, does Lucasfilm ever listen to, I think I do think they listen to positivity, but I don't think.
You understand, I think, the tide of what audiences want, but the majority,
right?
They're not going to listen to, if it's true, 14% of negativity. They'll
change their direction.
I think that as marketers and as creative people, they understand when a story runs its course. I think they're smart in that. Yeah, a lot of people think that they've belabored the Empire versus Rebels storyline quite a bit. Sure, and they probably have a little bit, but I think they're seeing that. Like, okay, now we got to transition into something else. So.
Which brings up two things. It seems like they're transitioning to a little more around with resistance to the Resistance First Order era, right? But then look what we're getting. We're going back to the prequels
with the books.
You've got novels coming.
Yeah.
You've got the Clone Wars coming back. The story in Thrawn Alliances is centered around that. The Queen, young Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, that's the prequels.
Yeah. And
you're getting more, and I actually feel like we're going to get even more stories from that era. Maybe more Darth Maul stuff, So
so good. It's about dang time.
I totally agree with you. And maybe that was the plan all along. I don't know. Let's bring everybody back. Go back to the original trilogy era.
Yeah.
Bring everybody back in, and then let's go reach out to those other stories.
They're doing it the right. Oh, some people say the right way. Although I like the prequels, but still they're starting over. But again, like exactly how you just said it. Original trilogy stories, prequel stories.
Yes.
Exactly what George Lucas tried to do.
Exactly.
But failed in, so many intents and purposes. But Disney's doing it again this way, which might be the right way. So, that's very exciting. Like I've never even thought about it that way. That's very interesting.
Well, it's a new generation.
Yeah, exactly.
That they have to reintroduce it to, basically.
But it's also, I think, the great amount of time, because I have been lately feeling that the general consensus of fans is like they're okay with the prequels now. They may hate them as movies, but they'll watch them and they can enjoy them, but they still have their issues with them.
Yeah.
Like kids, adults that are kind of around my age and kids younger than me, so that are growing up, I think they're, it's the opinion is softening now to the prequels.
Well, and another complete detour. I love doing this. That's the greatest part about this podcast. We just detour.
Yeah. But
did you see? I saw an interview briefly with Simon Pegg, who's out promoting Mission Impossible, obviously. Did you see that about what he mentions about On My Best?
I don't think so.
Like, okay, if anybody wants, you got to do this.
Saw all his tweets.
Get on YouTube or go on his tweet or something like that. It's an interview he did with some reporter, But he basically apologizes because he was one of those guys that lashed out about Jar Jar.
Yeah.
And he's like, I did not know that this happened to On My Best.
Yeah.
And I feel completely terrible about this. And I need to do a better job of not doing that.
Yeah.
Is supporting these actors and supporting these people. And if I don't like it, then I need to just keep it to myself, kind of thing. I mean, you can see in his face he was genuinely destroyed.
That's amazing.
By hearing what happened to him at best.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So, he mentions Kelly Marie Tran. He's like, we can't let this stuff happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think like you said, I think by reintroducing these new stories centered around those movies, I think it's going to make those movies better. And I think people are going to take notice of those movies, and I think it's just going to add to that story because that's what so many people loved about the original trilogy. Obviously, when the EU started coming out, right? Because it added more depth to those characters, and you got more stories with those characters. Now you're going to get that with the prequels, and I think it's just going to make it so much better.
Well, coming full circle to what we're talking about, I'm trying to pull it up as I just remembered, but Abrams has even said that Episode 9 will reference the prequels.
Yes, that's right.
I'm trying to find that.
How the heck is he going to do that? But I don't know.
Yeah,
Anakin, bring Anakin. It's Hayden. I think Hayden is going to be here.
That feeds into my speculation about 9 a little bit more. After hearing the casting announcement and how they could potentially use Leia, and then then what Abrams said about the prequels and how we definitely need Anakin
because that is the start of the Skywalker saga.
Yeah,
is Anakin, so it has to finish with him somehow. I feel like. Mm-hmm. In fact, I just decided that because
it's happening now.
So my you tell me, what do you think? My first speculation when I first read final installment.
Yeah.
My initial response right away was like, okay, that means all the Skywalkers have to die. Because if there are more Skywalkers, then there would potentially be more Skywalker sagas. Mm-hmm. But if we're truly ending the Skywalker saga, and it started with a 10-year-old boy on Tatooine, even though Shmi Skywalker was a Skywalker, but this whole Force thing and Jedi and the downfall of the Republic, all this whole storyline started with Anakin Skywalker.
Right.
And I feel like that it can't go on with Ben Solo. I mean, he even if he turns good, which I don't believe will happen, but if he turns good, it's not the end. You know what I mean? So to me, the end has to mean that he dies, Leia dies, and somehow Anakin is brought in as a Force ghost or whatever. He comes back as a Force ghost and kind of. I mean, and that's obviously that's how Luke has to come back. Luke has to come back as a ghost, right?
Absolutely.
So I think you're gonna have like all the Skywalkers like in the in the Force, and that's how it ends, and somehow like that. And Rey, of course, will continue the Jedi Order.
Yeah.
But that's how I see that's how it goes down. I don't know.
No, I definitely think Episode 9 is going, especially after reading the casting announcement, Episode 9 will serve not just as the Skywalker, but like as a memorial to Carrie Fisher. They even talk about reference like legacy, a legacy of Leia, a legacy of Carrie Fisher, and how they're going to use unused footage from Force Awakens. Now, I obviously don't have the experience of these Hollywood editors and everything, but I feel like it would be very challenging, very difficult to incorporate footage from Leia from Episode 7, incorporate those deleted scenes, unused footage, in a way that connects it to the current storyline of Episode 9. So basically, what I mean is how they're going to use her footage, I think, are through flashbacks.
Wow.
I think basically you could still start the Episode 9 several years later, start with like a funeral of Leia, but then the entire movie is basically the fallout and the characters reminiscing on her legacy and how her legacy is inspiring them to do more and to build and to bring the galaxy back.
Wow. Okay.
So I think you'll like because there's some deleted scenes with Rey and Leia. I think Rey's gonna be reminiscing and thinking back on Leia because it ended with her great moment with her and Leia on Episode 8 with the vehicle, and they connected over Luke. They connected over the Force. So I think there's definitely a relationship there that we honestly, unfortunately, haven't had enough time to spend with. So I think in that 9, it's going to be a lot of Rey thinking back on her times with Leia and kind of what she's meant for her. Poe also, if there might be some deleted scenes with Poe and Leia, I don't know, but Poe also could be reminiscing as a leader, his mentor, and thinking back on what Leia's done for him. So I think there's going to be a lot of that. And then even, I don't know, if there's even, I think Ben Solo will have some moment. I mean, I don't think he's going to have flashbacks, but I think he will also be reminiscing on the fact that his mother's passed. And that will just affect him as a character. So I think there's the passing of Leia as a character will have its ramifications on these characters and Luke and everybody that will kind of reflect. But, you know, Luke may be able to communicate with her in the afterlife. You know, who knows? But, and then, yeah, so I think you'll mainly get her scenes in flashbacks. That's how I see it. Some fans have speculated, thinking like, oh, what if JJ uses unused footage of Leia and somehow incorporates CG like Luke and CG Han Solo, like recreating them and motion capturing their faces, so it'd be like a flashback scene with Leia, Luke, and Han, and we get the 3. That would be super extreme and crazy. Cool if it happens, and if it's well done. I don't think it will, but you know, there's a lot of speculation about that. But no, I think definitely her scenes could be used. Probably will be used as flashbacks, which is good motivation for some of these characters to push them through their arcs. But yeah, Ben Solo dying, probably it makes sense that he will. But we've been had a 180 done on us by certain fates of characters that we thought were going to die but didn't die, like Ahsoka kind of a thing. So who knows what could really happen? One thing that could happen, I've always been a huge proponent of some kind of romantic relationship between Rey and Kylo, because they have so many good moments, and I feel like that could be one way she can pull him out because she falls in love with him. But I just hate that it's just going to end. I hate the fact knowing that if Ben dies, that's it. Mm-hmm. No, there won't be more stories, but like, what if somehow he has a kid and that's a new Skywalker, so the legacy lives on, but it's understood that there's no more stories involved. I don't know. I just hate thinking like that's it. Like that's the answer. Like he's gonna die and that's it.
But I also think though what they're doing is they've obviously brought Rey in the forefront, and they're making her, because you know there's been talks about there's going to be more stories with Rey.
Yeah, there have. Yeah,
Finn, Poe. You know what I mean? So there's stories for them beyond Episode 9.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that's going to be the next generation of heroes. You know, but and in Kylo, I mean, at least what I feel like happened in Episode 8 was that there's no coming back for him. Mm-hmm. Like he basically, I mean, I know he stopped from killing his mother, but you know what happened in the throne room, killing Snoke. I mean, that's like a Sith apprentice killing the man. I mean, it's taking over the mantle, you know, and the fact that he would have struck down Luke if he was standing there, and you know, it's like I just think he's beyond. I feel like he's beyond, and I do still feel like I do feel partially. But see, I don't. I keep thinking I don't want it to be. I kind of don't want it to be Return of the Jedi again. I don't want him to redeem himself in his. Because the question is, the thing about it is obviously in Return of the Jedi, Vader always still had a master. Kylo doesn't have a master. He is the master. Does he take a apprentice? Like, is there going to be a Dark Lord under him in this movie? Does he still have just the knights?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Who is the supporting force that he's gonna? Is it just him? Right. So, I mean, even if we're talking about this being several years later, by that point he could have maybe started taking one of the Knights of Ren and training him as an apprentice. Promoted. Yeah, exactly. You're promoted.
Yeah.
But, you know, Rey, I just feel like Rey will keep attempting. But in the end, I think she might just have to. Now, if you have to tell me, in the expanding universe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Solo twins, like the one that turned dark, he did not come back, right? I mean, he was killed by his sister.
Yeah, I don't believe he ever came back. And it's weird because I haven't read all those books, but what I've read up on for Jason Solo, he was never seen to me as like he had his villain.
I mean, he was
story.
a Darth.
Yeah, he was Darth Caedus.
Yeah.
He had his dark storyline, his big rise to power. But then I feel like he kind of just sustained as like this known dark force that's out there, but no one was taking him down. He just kind of like existed and did his own thing. I don't know. I think because he spanned several books.
Yes. Now, what I remember reading just in the footnotes was that Jaina tried several times to turn him back, and he never would turn. Mm-hmm. So in the end, she had to kill him. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm pretty sure she killed him.
I think that's right. I stopped before the turn even happened, but
not saying this is any way related, but I'm just saying in reference to a Skywalker that had turned that I just feel like Ben is that guy. Kylo Ren is that person that is now truly evil. I mean, his chance to turn was an 8. He could have decided to turn there, but he turned evil. Yeah. And I think that was the big twist of Rian Johnson's movie, right? Mm-hmm. That she kept saying, "Oh, if I go, he'll turn. He'll turn." Mm-hmm. He did turn. He turned fully evil.
Yeah.
So, which I thought was really neat about the movie, but. So that's what I'm saying. So in the end, I think the Skywalkers, Leia becomes one with the Force and helps Rey, or Luke is helping Rey with training and all that stuff, and then ultimately they have to take down the First Order, obviously.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's how I see it.
It's just, I guess it's just the optimist in me. It's I hate thinking of such a tragic end to the Skywalker family. Like after all they've done, the legacy is going to end with a villain, with the death of a villain. Like, that's so sad to me. It's like I hate thinking like that. Like Leia will be gone, probably.
But that's how Episode 6 ended.
Yeah, but you had Luke, you had the heroes.
Yes, but you had the death of a villain was
death of a villain that redeemed himself, but it was still had a much more optimistic. It was tragic because Luke lost his father, and he's mourning his father at the end of the film, but it still had a hope at the end. I think it ended with the theme of hope for the Skywalker.
That's what I'm saying. I think the hope is going to transfer to Rey.
Yeah,
and the whatever Jedis she has at this point, because I feel like she has to have a few. I mean,
yeah.
And who knows? Carrie Russell could be a Jedi. I don't, she could be a trained Force user.
And I'm sure Luke. I mean, obviously Luke will still be around because he's a Force ghost. They can't die, so he's already dead. But Luke will still be around for future stories. I would say
he will be. Yeah.
So this will still have Luke Skywalker.
And I do get the sense of Mark Hamill put out a very awesome tweet the other day, talking about Carrie Fisher, and I want to bring it up. I'll bring it up here in a second. But
I keep thinking, I wonder if JJ will try something new and find a way to use Luke Skywalker in such a way where he's practically physical, like as a form, and not, because we saw Force Ghost Yoda do some crazy stuff with the storm and the Force lightning, something we've never seen before. So I wonder if he'll make Force Ghost Luke do something else that's new, like be almost solid form. So it's like, oh, Luke is here. Luke's back. He's actually here doing stuff.
Well, you can tell in some of his tweets lately, especially after the cast was revealed. You kind of sense the excitement he has, because I think for a little while he thought, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm out. And JJ obviously wrote him back in, and I mean, so. You do think? Are you on the fence? Though, do you feel like he's a Force ghost, or do you feel like it's just flashbacks?
No, I think he's as a Force. He's active into the current story.
I agree.
Yeah.
So a great tweet he put out. He actually pinned it to the top of his feed. He tweeted, "It's bittersweet facing my final chapter without her. She is simply irreplaceable. I'm finding solace in the fact that she won't be replaced, and would love the worldwide outpouring of affection from those who loved her when they heard the news." Hashtag carry on
So
forever.
he even says his final chapter.
Correct. Well, and then he's got great pictures of,
Oh, wow.
him and
Oh, yeah.
from old
That's
school from episode 8, and then of course the title at the end of episode 8, in loving memory of our princess, Carrie Fisher. So here's the thing, though. Would you be okay if they did use a digital?
I would have been okay.
I would have been okay with it too.
I mean, to me, that's honorable, though. I don't think to me that's dishonorable.
Like Tarkin.
Yeah, exactly. Like that to me, that's like I don't know. I can't speak for the family, obviously.
Right.
So I know it's an entirely different mindset. I recognize that. But as a fan of Carrie Fisher, as a fan of Leia, I would have been totally okay with seeing that. But yeah, they had their reasons.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I would have been okay. Definitely, obviously, fully against anybody replaying her.
Recast is out of the question.
Out of question. But what they did with her in Rogue One, obviously a young Carrie Fisher, was well done.
Yeah.
What they did with Tarkin was unbelievable.
Yes.
Yes. They could have easily recasted Peter Cushing.
Yeah.
And
I mean, they hired a very good look-alike.
They did.
And sound-alike.
I mean, you could easily make Billie Lourd stand in, and just age her with Carrie Fisher's face, or just get an older actress. You could have done it, and I would have been completely okay with it,
right?
Because the only reason I say that is because obviously JJ figured out a way to do it that didn't. I guess. I mean, obviously, see, the thing is, how much of the story did he change because she wasn't available?
I think it had to be almost the entire story.
I agree, right?
I think that's why they got someone like Chris Terrio to co-write it. Cause it's like these are heavy hitter screenwriters, not just for simple third act changes. I think it's like an overhaul, almost. Yeah, because Trevorrow, I don't think he's getting a credit for this.
No.
So
this is all JJ.
It's all hit. But I think Terrio, Trevorrow, he wrote 9. Right, he was rewriting. He was
in the middle of doing it,
so,
but then he got let go.
Yeah, so he won't have. I don't think there's going to have hardly any signature of his work.
Yeah, because obviously once she passed, then it was like, well, what are we going to do?
It was always said it's going to be her movie.
Yes. Oh man,
and still, I think that's why I think it still is her movie, just in her legacy.
Yeah, but you can't be in the whole movie though with just use unseen footage.
No, I don't think. I think they're kind of overstating it. They're just making it known like she's in it. Like this is like she's physically like you'll see her scenes maybe a few times, handful of times. Like you may not have full-fledged scenes where it's like her and her dialogue. It's maybe some of that, but also probably a lot of just flashes and glimpses and flashbacks of just seeing her, not hearing her. But her legacy will be prominent throughout. Like the presence of Leia and Carrie Fisher, I think, will be felt throughout the entire movie.
Yeah,
because of the flashbacks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. How much? What is that story? If she was alive, what was that story going to be?
It's just like scenes with her and Kylo would have been very emotional.
Yeah,
Kylo and his mommy. It's unfortunate.
Okay, so that's good. So you think they're going to utilize a lot of her stuff in flashbacks?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me.
Right now, I have a sense that I feel like they're going to use her unused footage in the first act of the movie, and then I actually think if she's not, well, I think she's going to be alive, and I think she's going to die in the first act, something like that.
We'll see her alive. And we'll
yes,
see her die.
I think somehow that unused footage. Because if you think about it, episode 7, she's at the base. I mean, she's at a brief scene in a Takodana, but then she's at the car mainly, and then she's in that blue outfit on the car. So she's only in 2 outfits. So I think what could be is that they're at another base. They make it similar to what we saw in the car, and she, maybe there's dialogue there that she has with Rey or with Snap. I don't know. I just feel like there's scenes there that they'll fill her in for the first part, and then maybe the base gets attacked. And,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no.
I mean, obviously they didn't shoot any scenes of her dying, so I don't know how they're going to do that.
That's why for a brief glimpse when she was supposed dead in episode 8, I was like, oh, that's it. That's how they did it. They totally, like, because it's like, it was all digital kind of, and she didn't have any reaction of getting blown up. She just kind of like realized something was up, and then suddenly she's gone. I was like, no. I accepted it. I was like, that's it. She's gone now.
Wow. Yeah.
Until
they brought her back.
Mary Poppins her back.
Yep. But, you know, her laying in that case all in white. I mean, it's like some people mentioned, like, well, they got scenes of that. And I'm like, but they haven't mentioned 8. They just mentioned scenes from episode 7.
Yeah. Which I kind of think of, like those Dakar scenes or any more Takodana stuff. If Han had any moments there. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Of course, we will be speculating this for the next year and a half.
Yeah, gosh.
So a long way away till, but obviously they're, you know, when JJ releases something, who knows? Will we get something by the end of the year? Because he's usually a year out kind of director.
Mm-hmm. I think so. I think
we got something Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
a year before episode 7, which could be a good bet that we could get something around then, at least a teaser.
I mean, football season's coming up. They like the football season.
I know. Of course, you know, Celebration is going to be the big one.
Yeah.
In April, definitely trailer then, definitely Clone Wars stuff then. Resistance finale is going to be then.
There's enough for every day now. Really.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
that's why they have 4 days.
Yeah, episode 9 day, your Resistance day, your Jon Favreau live action show day, your Clone Wars day, and then a future movie day, like Rian Johnson and Game of Thrones guys. Like you have a headliner for each day now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it's a lot of stuff to look forward to. So, all right, everybody, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us and listening to our breakdown of the cast announcement for episode 9. Go to InsideTheForce.com for all the connectivity for us: Google, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, of course. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, Google Play. He's Kryptonian1138 on Twitter. I'm DConning21 on Twitter. Hit us up on there to join the conversations. Thanks, everybody. Hope everybody has a good week. For Casey Cooley.
You have your moments. Not many of them, but you do have them.
Carry on.
Princess.
Forever.
Yep.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week to jam out on all things Star Wars. And talk more about all the galaxy far, far away stuff that we love. He's Casey.
Goodbye, everybody.
I'm Dave. May the Force be with you.
Thank you for listening to Inside the Force, a Star Wars podcast hosted by David Cottingham and Casey Cooley. For more shows, additional content, articles, and the latest Star Wars news, please visit InsideTheForce.com. Inside the Force. For the Force, then all of us.